Good morning, dear students. My name is Swati Verma, and I am a verbal ability and a soft skill trainer. And in this today's video, we are going to learn about a very important yet a very basic topic of English language, that is articles. So let us quickly start our video. So firstly, we are going to understand the definition of articles. The definition says that articles are the adjectives which are used before noun in order to qualify them or determine them. Hence, articles are also known as determiners because they used to determine or identify any noun that can be any name of a person, place, animal, or thing. So now let us see the types of articles. Articles are broadly classified at two types. First is the definite article and the second one is the indefinite article, which is further classified as the definite article, and in indefinite articles there are two types, that is a and an. Now, what do we understand by this definite and indefinite term? Let us understand that. So the first one is the definite article the. The makes a noun particular, right? What does that mean? It makes something specific. So whenever we have to make any noun specific, then we use the article the. Let's take an example that says, give me the ball. Here, the noun which is used is ball. And before the ball, we are using the article that is the. Here, both the speaker and the listener are already known that which ball they are talking about. That's why this ball has become specific or particular. That's why we are using article the before ball, just to make it particular or specific. Clear? The next is the indefinite articles. So as I told you earlier that there are two types of indefinite articles, a and an. So now what is the work of that indefinite article? See, as we studied that the is used to define something particular, whereas article a and an, which are the indefinite articles, are used to give something general, right? Which are used to specify that is something general, right? Article a and an makes the noun general and indefinite. That means we are not having any previous information about that specific noun, so that we can use article a and an. Let us understand it with using an example. That is, give me a ball. Here the noun is same, that is ball, but the article which we are using, it is a. And now because of this ball has become general. Here, the speaker and the listener both are unaware of that ball, both do not know which type of ball they were discussing, but the speaker only said that he just want a ball. It can be any type of ball. Clear? Now, it's very important for you to understand that where to use that article. Are we using it before noun, after noun, or where? So we are going to learn in this slide that what is the position of an article. First says that articles are used before noun. Always remember, whichever type of article we are going to use, it should always be used before noun, right? For example, she is a dancer. Here the noun is the word dancer, and before that we are using the article a. Clear? So articles are always used before the words noun. Secondly, if any adjective defines or qualifies that particular noun, always remember to use the article before the adjective and noun. Fine? In second way, we will use the articles before the adjective used for that noun. If any word is used to qualify the noun, the articles will be used before that quantifier. Example, she is a good dancer. Here our noun is dancer, but we are adding more information to this word dancer by putting an adjective, that is good. Therefore, we will use article before good. That is, firstly we will use article, then we will go for adjective, and then noun. I hope this is clear to you all. So the last rule says that if there is any Adverb or adjective combination before the noun. Always remember you will use article before that adverb and adjective combination. Right? So correct format will be firstly you will put the article according to the adverb and then adjective and then the noun for which we are using the article. Right? So the example is she is a very good dancer. Here the noun is exactly the same, that is dancer. But we have used an adjective and adverb combination here, that is very good. Therefore, we will use the article before very, right? I hope this is clear to you. Let's come to the next slide. That says the basic rules of articles. Now, articles have a lot of rules which you all need to understand. And in this video, we are going to learn some of the basic rules of articles which will help you to improve your grammar. So let's come to the rule. Rule number one says article A is used before singular countable nouns, which begins with a consonant sound. Now, what did I say? Articles A and A are used whenever some noun is beginning with the sound of a consonant. Now, what is a consonant? There's English alphabets has 26 letters, right? Alphabets in which 5 are vowels and others are the consonant. Every alphabet except from A, E, I, O and U are known as consonants. So whenever any noun is beginning with the sound of a consonant, always remember if it is singular and countable, you are going to use article a with it. Clear? Whenever any noun is beginning with a consonant sound, you will use article a with it. For example, she is a teacher. Here our noun is teacher, and if we pronounce teacher, the first sound that is coming is of t, and which is a consonant. Therefore, we are using article a with this. Now, the second rule is about article an. Article "an" is used before singular and countable nouns, but you have to remember one thing, that we will use article "an" when any word is beginning with a vowel sound. That is, it should begin with A, E, I, O, U sound. Always remember the sound should come of these vowels, then only you are going to use article a before that. For example, I saw an eagle at the zoo. Right now, the noun which we are using is eagle. And how are we pronouncing it? First word is coming E. E is a vowel. That's why we are using the article "and" with it. Clear? Use number 3. Always remember a and "an" means singular. We cannot use a and "an" with anything that is plural. We are not going to use a and "an" with plural nouns. The correct sentence will be I saw bears in the Yellowstone National Park. Here, the noun which we are using is bears and that is a plural noun. Therefore, we will not use any article a or "an" before that. Right? Rule number 4 says if there is an adjective or adverb combination, always remember to use that article before that adverb and adjective combination for that noun. Right? This is the same as we studied in the position of articles. Clear? For example, he is an excellent teacher. Here, excellent is an adjective which is qualifying the word teacher. So we are going to use the article according to the adjective used in the sentence. It might come sometimes adverb and adjective combination. Then only we are going to use articles according to that adverb which will come before the adjective and the noun. The next rule 5 says there are some words, remember, which may look like they are beginning with a vowel, but they will not actually. Use article A before words such as European or university, which sounds like they start with a consonant even if the first letter is a vowel. Although when we write such words like university or European, first word which we use is vowel. But when we are going to pronounce it, when we are going to say it, the first word is actually not a vowel. It's a consonant, right? How am I pronouncing the word European? The first letter that is coming is Y. European. European. So that's why always remember we are not going to use article and before it, although it is looking like they are starting with a vowel, but it is actually not. Therefore, remember to use article a before such words. It can be one. How are we pronouncing the letter one? O-N-E. The spelling is starting from the vowel, but it actually is not starting from a vowel, but the sound is coming off a consonant. So remember to use an article a before it. Always remember, sometimes there can be words which look like they are starting from a consonant, but when we will pronounce that, the sound firstly will be of a vowel. So we will use article and before that. What the rule says is, use article and before such words like our. Now I am writing our starting with the alphabet H. But how am I pronouncing it? Our. The first word which is coming in pronunciation is a. Therefore, we will use article and before that. Similarly, there can be more words like eight, right? Or four. I have only an hour for lunch. Now here, this hour, H. Although it may look like that is starting from a consonant, but in the pronunciation, the sound is coming off a. That's why we are using article and here. Now, use number 6. In English, there are some words that are considered uncountable. Although it can start from any vowel or a consonant, but always remember that these words are not plural, not singular. So we will not use any article before them. For example, information, right? Information is not a singular noun. It is a plural noun. It's a bunch of information, so many information we get, right? That's why we are not going to use any article before them. She gives a good advice. Now, she gives good advice is the correct form. She gives a good advice will not be correct, right? Why? Because advice is a uncountable noun, right? Now use number 8 says a and an are called indefinite articles. As I told you earlier, there are two types of articles. A and an comes under the type indefinite articles, which means not specific. That is, you don't know about that particular thing, but still you are saying something in a line, but that thing is not specific or not previously known to you. For example, I need a phone. Here, the person is speaking that he wants a phone, but he is not specifying a particular phone. He just said that I need a phone. Now, is he clarifying that what type of phone he wants? No. So, therefore, we are not going to use article the with it because it's a definite article. We'll use article a and an before it. Now use number 8. Next says, always remember to use a and an when you are talking about the thing which are new, right? In the previous rule, right now we have studied that whatever things which are new to us, which are unknown to us, we are going to use article a and an with it because they are indefinite articles, right? For example, I have a car. Now, am I telling you that which type of car am I having? No, I just told you that I have a car. I'm not specifying the car is unknown and it is new, therefore we'll use article a with it. If the word would have started with a vowel sound, we would have used article and before that. Use number 9 says, we use article a and an before a singular, countable, common nouns when it is mentioned for the first time, representing no particular thing or any noun, right? So whenever we are not representing any particular noun, we are using it for the first time, we have not specified anything, then we will use article a or an before it. I need a book. Here the book is not already particularized, therefore we are using article a with it. Use number 10 says, we use article a or an before a countable noun. But keep in mind, we will use it when it is representing a whole class, right? Of anything. It can be a thing, an animal, or person. Let us understand this with an example. The example says, a cow is a useful animal. Here, the noun is cow, right? Now, one cow, is only one cow useful? Others are not. No, right? Every cow is useful for us. So, whenever we have to tell about the whole class, we will use articles before them. That can be article a or article an. Here the word which we pronounced was cow and that is starting from a consonant sound. That's why we are using article a, right? And it is representing the whole class of cows, that all the cows are useful. Use number 11 says, a and an is used to make a common noun of a proper noun to express a quality. Let us understand this with an example because it's a bit tricky. The example says, our Shylock is living in my neighborhood. Now, what am I doing in this sentence? In my neighborhood, I'm just determining a person by his nature. But I'm telling that that person is just like Shylock. Do you know who Shylock was? Shylock was a very cruel miser, right? And I'm comparing that cruel miser, the Shylock, to the person who is living next to my home, right? So here this Shylock is adding information, or it is a proper noun, but here by adding article we are making it common, right? So the example is, a Shylock is living in my neighborhood. I'm making a proper noun Shylock, adding an article common. Use number 12. It says, in certain expressions of quantity with certain numbers and expressions, price, rate, speed, ratio. So whenever we have to describe about any price, about the speed or something, any quantity like that, always remember to use article or an before it. For example, rupees 10 a kilo. Here, if I'm going to a vendor shop and I'm asking that what is the price of that particular thing? So he'll reply me, it is rupees 10 a kilo. That means for 1 kg, I'll have to pay him only 10 rupees, right? So whenever you have to just determine a particular quantity, price or speed or ratio, we will use article a or an before that. Now next rule says, whenever a and an represent a weakened form of preposition in. I'll give you an example and then we'll understand this point. Now it is saying that we will use article a or article an to represent a weakened form of preposition in. Right? What does that mean? Let us understand with an example. He earns 50,000 rupees a year. Now, from this example, it is clear to me that the person whom I'm talking about is earning 50,000 rupees in an year. Means एक साल में उसकी कमाई 50,000 rupees है, right? So यहाँ पे article a represent कर रहा है in का weak form. Per year या in a year का weak form article a represent करता है, ठीक है? इसका मतलब यही हुआ, whenever we have to represent the weakened form of in, we will use article a or an. The next rule says, in certain exclamations, in certain points, when we have to express something using exclamations, we will use article a or article an. For example, always remember one more thing, that it should express singular nouns only. Fine? The example says, what a hot day. If you're having a hot day or a tired day, that can be only one day, right? When we are discussing about a single day, then we will use article a or article an before that to express a phrase. Always remember there is a note that says, in some cases, this is regarding the position of articles. We have already studied earlier that we are going to use article before noun. Okay? If there is a verb combination of adjective or adverb, we will use articles before them. But there is an exception because exceptions are everywhere, right? So this first rule says that if we are using some certain words and those words are rather, very, much, quite, so too, such as, then always remember the position of the articles can be changed depending on that particular adverb which we are using in our sentence. For example, it is rather a nuisance. Now here our word or our noun is nuisance. अगर हम अपनी पोजीशन वाला रूल याद करके रखते तो हम इस ए आर्टिकल को रादर के पहले लगाते, राइट? बट नाउ वन थिंग दैट इज टू बी केप्ट इन माइंड, बिकॉज वी आर यूजिंग द वर्ड रादर हियर, इसकी वजह से इस आर्टिकल का पोजीशन चेंज हो जाएगा एंड वी विल यूज आर्टिकल just in between rather and nuisance. Fine. The second example says, it is a very good person. Okay, so now here we are using the same old rule that firstly the article, then the adverb, then adjective, then noun. The third example is, it is quite an interesting story. Here again the position changed. How? First is quite, which is an adverb, then we are putting article, then we are using adjective and then noun. So always keep in mind whenever we are using such words, such adjectives in our sentences, the position of articles can be changed. Now we have understood almost 15 uses of article a and an. Let us come to the next rule, that is rule number 16. Now this rule says, use articles a or an before the verbs used as noun. Now what does the meaning of this rule? This is saying that whenever we have to tell or convert a verb as a noun, we can use any article a or an depending on the sound of that particular verb. For example, for a swim. Here, what is the verb? The verb is swim, but we are adding an article before it, that is a, just in order to make this verb a noun, right? We are making this verb here a noun. That's why we will have to use article a or article an before it, right? Similarly, if we talk like for a talk, so what we are doing here? Talk is a verb. It is an action word that represents some action taking place. That is talk, right? But we are using article a before it, so the meaning of the whole word is changed. Now it has not remained verb. अब इसका मीनिंग वर्ब की जगह क्या हो गया है? एक नाउन बन गया है. क्यों? क्योंकि हमने इसमें एक आर्टिकल यूज कर लिया जो कि है अ. फाइन. तो जब भी हम किसी भी वर्ब के आगे कोई आर्टिकल अ या एन यूज कर लेते हैं तो वो वर्ब ना बन करके वो नाउन का काम करती है. इस रूल का मतलब यही है कि जब भी हम किसी भी वर्ड है जो हमारा वर्ब, एक्शन वर्ड कोई भी हो सकता है, वो इट कैन बी टॉक, डांस और एनीथिंग लाइक दैट. ठीक है. So if we are using any article before it, the meaning of the whole word will change. It will be used as a noun rather than being used as a verb. Next rule says, that is use number 17, before certain phrases. So there are certain phrases in English language which we use in our daily or conversation, right? Which we use in our daily life on all in our conversations. Always remember, when we are going to use articles in this, the meaning of that conversation or that phrase will be clear to you. The first phrase says, in a hurry. Whenever you are late for some work or you are running to go to your work or college or somewhere, what do you say to people? That please let me go, I'm really in a hurry, right? That denotes that you have an urgent work and you have to reach somewhere at a certain time. So therefore, we will use article a to make this phrase complete. In hurry will not sound proper, but adding an article is making the meaning of this phrase complete. Similarly, tell a lie. When you do some nuisance and then you come to your mama and your mama says what? Do not tell a lie, right? Isn't? So here, this phrase is also completed by using just an article, that is article a. The next phrase says, feel ashamed. When you have done something wrong or you are guilty of something, you feel ashamed by your own self. Then you speak to people, yes, I am feeling ashamed or I feel ashamed about something. So now how the meaning of this phrase is complete? Just by adding an article, that is a. Now the last phrase which I have used, there are so many phrases in which articles are used to make the meaning complete, right? I have just taken a few phrases here to make you understand the point. And the point is very clear that whenever you are going to use any article in a phrase, the meaning of that phrase will be complete. Now the last one is interesting. And how it is? The last one says, make a noise. You all must have done this in your school days or in your classes, right? Doing some nuisance in the class. When the teacher comes, what she says strictly, do not make a noise or I will give punishment to you, right? Or I will call your parents or something like that. So what is the words of her? What are the words that she says? She says, do not make a noise. ऐसा तो है नहीं कि वो कहती है कि do not make noise. Why? Because the phrase is completed by adding an article that is a. So the meaning of that phrase comes शोर मत मचाओ, ठीक है? Do not make a noise. I hope this is clear to you that whenever you are going to use any article in phrases, that phrase will be complete. Now rule number 18 is there that says before the words denoting numbers. So whenever you are denoting any number, any singular amount of number, it can be 100, 1,000, a million, a billion or anything, right? Then you will use articles a before it. A dozen when you have to represent a quantity of something, a dozen like 15 rupees a dozen or something similar sounds, then you will use article o or an depending on the pronunciation or the sound of the word or the noun which you are going to use after the article. Now the next rule says, and it is somewhat important for you to understand what the meaning of this rule is. It says, remember to use article a, right? We will use article a here only. And it says that before the adjective little and few. Whenever little and few are to be used in when it conveys the meaning of some, then we will use article a before it. Always remember, a article का यूज अगर few और some के पहले किया जा रहा है तो उसका मतलब है कि वो अमाउंट या क्वांटिटी बता रहे हैं जो कि है सम, थोड़ी क्वांटिटी बता रहे हैं, ठीक है? अगर यहीं पे हम फ्यू और लिटिल का यूज बिना किसी आर्टिकल के करेंगे तो उनका पूरा मीनिंग चेंज हो जाएगा, बट जस्ट बाय एडिंग वन सिंगल आर्टिकल अ हमने उसका मीनिंग चेंज कर दिया. हाउ? नाउ इफ वी टॉक अबाउट लिटिल, लिटिल का मतलब होता है कुछ, ठीक है? बट सिर्फ अगर हमने लिटिल यूज किया उसका मतलब है हार्डली एनी, मीन्स वी आर नॉट हैविंग एनी क्वांटिटी, बिल्कुल भी हमारे पास कुछ भी नहीं है. बट इफ वी आर यूजिंग अ लिटिल से उस लिटिल का मतलब चेंज हो गया. यहाँ पे अ लिटिल का मीन्स हो जाएगा सम, मीन्स कुछ क्वांटिटी उसके जो भी है पर्सन या जिस भी चीज की हम बात करें उसकी कुछ क्वांटिटी हमारे पास है. Similarly, few. Few, it comes in the case of number. When we have to count something and when we are saying few amount, few means hardly any, ना के बराबर, मतलब कुछ भी नहीं है. But just by adding an article that is a, few का भी मतलब change हो गया. यहाँ पे a few means some, that is in the case of number. Let us understand with an example. The example says, I have little money to buy a house. Here, the speaker is telling some other person who is the listener that he has little money to buy a house. Little का मतलब यहाँ पे quantity से है, पर little दिखाता है hardly any. मतलब उसके पास जो भी अमाउंट है वो बिल्कुल ना के बराबर है, उसके पास कुछ पैसा नहीं है कि वो अपना घर खरीद ले, राइट? बट यहाँ पे हमने सेंटेंस को चेंज कर दिया जस्ट बाय एडिंग वन आर्टिकल दैट इज आर्टिकल अ. एंड व्हाट वी डिड, आई हैव अ लिटिल मनी टू बाय अ हाउस. Now here the meaning of the whole sentence is changed just by adding one single article. And how it is? Article a and little when it is combined together, the meaning of this comes as some. मतलब कुछ quantity उसके पास है, कुछ money उसके पास है जिससे वो अपना घर खरीद सके. Now understand the example of few. If I say I have today a few स्टूडेंट्स केम टू द क्लास मीन्स पूरी क्लास में आज ना के बराबर स्टूडेंट आए, मतलब इतने भी नहीं आए कि मैं उसे काउंट कर सकूं और या उनका नंबर ले सकूं। अगर इसी सेंटेंस को मैं ऐसे बोलूं, आई टुडे अ फ्यू स्टूडेंट्स केम टू द क्लास, दैट मीन्स देयर वर सम students in the amount of number who came to the class to attend the class. फाइन। तो इस रूल का मतलब यही है और ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रूल है जो बताता है कि जस्ट बाय एडिंग आर्टिकल अ द होल मीनिंग ऑफ दोज टू वर्ड्स कैन बी चेंज्ड। इट कैन बी लिटिल, लिटिल विल बिकम ना के बराबर से वो किस में चला जाएगा, थोड़े अमाउंट में, सम अमाउंट में। सिमिलरली फ्यू, फ्यू एंड अ फ्यू, फ्यू मीन्स बिल्कुल ना के बराबर और अ फ्यू मीन्स some or in the case of numbers. I hope this is clear to you. Now we have come to the end of this video. I hope you understood all the points which I told you. We will be continuing same topic, but there are so many rules for articles which you need to understand still. And we'll see you in the next video.